The grain market on the weaker side here on this Monday to start out a brand new week. And don't forget, we've got that world supply and demand estimate that's going to be just around the corner once we roll the calendar into September. That second week of September. Let's take a closer look at where we stand right now as we get ready for the crop progress report that's going to be out a little bit later on this afternoon at 3 p.m. Central, 4 Eastern. We'll have the results of that on the air tomorrow. September corn down 2.5 at 346. The new crop December corn's down 1 3/4 at 361 even. Over in the soybeans, it's September down 6 3/4 at 835 1/4. November new crop soybeans down 6 3/4 at 848 1/2. The wheat market, we've got a few of these contracts, in fact, most of them now in the Chicago. Double-digit losses with September Chicago wheat down 12 1/4 at 502 1/2. July down 9 at 557. September Kansas City wheat down 15 3/4, 503 1/2. Just a half a penny off of the low. July is down 11 3/4. September Minneapolis wheat down 12 1/4 at 560 1/2. July down a nickel at 614 1/2. And the cotton trade for December is up a half a penny at 82.13. And Scott Gecas is at the edge of the trading floor in Chicago, and he joins us now from the CME Group. First of all, Scott, this wheat market just continues to grind lower after last Friday, maybe showing some signs of hope. But today, here we've got another lower day, and that export inspections numbers actually came in relatively in line with last week.
Yeah, and the export numbers before Friday came in a little bit lighter around that 239 level. I think that's just more lingering to the weaker side, pushing it a little bit lower. However, you have the Russian exports. They have declined for the third straight week in a row. There's a rumor that Ukraine is going to limiting their exports as well. So with all that being said, the supply is being threatened. There's going to be more demand than supply. So we expect in the next few weeks here, if not later on in the year, for a big, strong move in the wheat market to the upside. We are watching that 500 level as a key support level for wheat right now, though.
All right, and we're very, very close to that, as you mentioned. What about corn and soybeans here today? Weakness here that spilled over from last night's trade as well.
Yeah, and that's really odd. So the weakness in the soybean market, I was on Friday talking about that 850 level. They were waffling back and forth around 855, and overnight you've seen it break 850. It traded all the way down to 538. We're getting some relief bounce here, but that 850 is definitely going to be a key level. Now, they came out and they're estimating the yield for the soybeans around 53. The crop tour has a tendency to underestimate those, so we're going to look to see around 54, 55, see if that really comes into play, though.
So is the trade already kind of working that number into the futures over here?
That's what it's looking like, and the option market is confirming that as well.
All right, Scott Gecas here at the edge of the trading floor, and when we come back, we'll be talking to Scott about the livestock trade. So stay with us right here on the Market Day Report. It's higher over here on the protein complex side of this livestock market trade. And we'll go right straight to the live cattle first. And by the way, today is a show list day where they're releasing all the show lists to see what cattle are for sale. But right now, it's the front month of August, up $1.30 at 107.55. October up $2.25 at 108.95. And December is up $1.92 at 113.12. September feeder cattle up $3.14 at 150.62. October up $3.16 at 149.88, and November up $2.95 at 149.92 in what was a pretty active trade early on this morning. And the hog complex, October up $2.60 right now, 54.38. December lean hogs, they're a limit higher, $3 higher at 54.22. February up $2.15 at 63.95, and with the April up $1.50 at 69.42. Let's go back to the edge of the trading floor in Chicago where Scott Gecas is standing by. Scott, what's the trade volume like over here in the protein complex side of the trade?
Across the board, cattle as well as the hogs, there's a very strong volume. It looks like new fresh buyers are finally coming in, finally showing up, and I think that reflects just based on that chart. I've been talking about in cattle, I've been talking about that 107.5 level. As soon as it broke that, you've seen a big spike in volume, big spike in volatility. It traded all the way up to around 109 or so. You know, that just confirms that there's more fresh buying coming in. You know, on the hog side, I'm really shocked that the front month isn't limit higher, especially you have everything that is positive in hogs. The NAFTA news that just came out this morning, You also have that Chinese swine flu that's affecting about 20% of the overall the hogs in China. It's rumored that it could spread to even more. It's tightening the world supply. People are going to have to come to U.S. for pork, and I think that market's already showing that, and it's reflecting it to the upside today.
Could the hogs eventually give a little bit of strength over here to the cattle, because those two proteins, they are somewhat competitive in some areas? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, because both of the markets have been beaten down so much lately, I think that the hog market is going to be the leader, and I think cattle is going to follow in the next few days here.
Interesting. Also, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the cash cattle trade this week. Of course, today is a quiet day, but the boxes here, for both the beef and the pork here at midday, the cutouts are both quite a bit stronger.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's going to be a determination of a little bit mover higher as well.
All right. The choice box beef cutout up $1.60 at $214.92. The selects up $2.33 at $206.15. I mentioned those pork cutouts being stronger. The carcass is up $3.40 at $67.58. The loins $5.32 higher at $76.56. The hams up $78 at $53.04. And the belly's up $8.13 at $80.65. Scott Gecas with Longleaf Trading at the edge of the floor there. And Scott, thank you very much. Always appreciate visiting with you, and always good to talk to you.